Good afternoon. My name is Micah Redhorse Hart, and today, why don't we ask ourselves, why do people intoxicate themselves? You might think some people just do it for fun, but then there's some people out there that do it for a reason. And with that, there's dangers, there's dangers to abusing drugs and alcohol because they have side effects. And then we're here to hear about how damaging it is to you and others around you. First is alcohol. It's pretty much damaging towards you, just like other substances. It affects the lungs, the gut, and mainly the liver, and also the brain. It affects the lungs by creating a risk of acute respiratory distress syndrome. So it's almost like pneumonia, almost. And then it could also cause alcohol-induced impairment of the lung function. So one side might be weaker than the other. And then abusing alcohol can lead to altercations of intestinal functions like gut permeability and impaired intestinal absorption of nutrients. It's also seen that alcohol-induced liver damage is brought about by gut dysfunctions. It is also shown that atrophy in the brain appears in people who drink a lot, people who are, I guess you could say, addicted to it, alcoholics. And yeah, all I have to say is please drink responsibly and don't drink and drive with that. And then the next thing is more serious. I'm gonna just start off by saying, regardless of how long a high lasts, a user may experience an array of unpleasant and dangerous side effects of a drug. Now, I'm gonna talk like a range about different substances. So typically in opioids, you will feel confusion, drowsiness, widespread itching, also known as pruritus, and then nausea when you're coming down from them, or you could call it withdrawals, I guess. And then some opioids would be fentanyl, which is very deadly, codeine, hydrocodone, morphine, and oxycodone. There's a lot more. And all these are proven to be deadly when misused. Overdosing is another thing about drugs, especially on opioids, because it impacts the respiratory system when you overdose, because it makes it harder to breathe, like as it's happening. And it's also the same as when someone uses heroin. They go into a thing called respiratory depression caused by overdosing. And then the next thing would be, another problem would be methamphetamine. I see this problem on the reservations a lot. And I was reading up on when I was doing research, and I stumbled upon a story where a student was taking methamphetamine to stay awake because he was studying for his finals. He experienced the typical effects, including mood cycles and paranoia. He got to the point where his blood pressure was twice as high as normal, and then he collapsed and he had an aneurysm, and it took several hours to stop the internal bleeding. Side effects of this cause extreme nervousness, rapid heartbeat, dizziness, restlessness, insomnia, severe depression, rise in blood pressure, and a possibility of a stroke. And then long usage can cause mental problems, and then I've heard people call it meth psychosis. And then thinking of how you could try to help people, you could try to offer them help, but then it's their life, they're gonna choose what they wanna do. even though it's not really their fault that they're doing it. But how to like prevent it would be like peer pressure. Like don't give into that because it's not worth it. Because I pretty much just explained why it's not worth it. So, and also, like, I should have put the hotline and stuff or the treatment stuff on here, but then I didn't. So that's pretty much it.